disaster is that? Look at this other picture. You can check on the internet if you want. Look at this other picture. What happened here? Look at the ground. The ground is the ground dry or wet? What do you see here? The ground, suelo, is the ground dry or wet?
Drought.
It's a drought. Yeah, that's the name of the disaster. It's a drought. I'm asking you, ¿el suelo está húmedo o seco? Is the ground dry or wet?
Wet.
Is it wet? Really? Look, there was no rain, so there is a drought. Yeah, that's the disaster. Look at this. How do you call that? Look at the clouds, very dark. And look at these lights. How do you call that? Look at this other. Are you familiar with this? What is this?
Tsunami.
It's a tsunami. Good. It's a tsunami. It's also called the killer wave. The killer wave, right? La ola asesina. It's the killer wave or a tsunami. Hmm? What about this? Look, the trees. You know, there is heavy winds, and also a combination with rain.
Hurricane.
Yeah, a hurricane. This is what usually happens in the United States every year. You know, they have a time of the year where they have, you know, the arrival of hurricanes, and they give it a name, right? Le ponen nombre todavía, you know, the arrival of specific here hurricane. You have mentioned that. What's that called? A tornado. And look at here, there is too much water. After a heavy rain, a flood. A flood. So, how can we say? Let me see if I got the names. Oh, no. Yeah, I will write the names right here. So, what do we have? Tell me again. Oh, Carlos is joining. We have an earthquake. Good. That's an earthquake. Let me make it bigger. Too big. That's an earthquake. What about this?
Drought.
A drought. Is that the spelling correct? Hello, Carlos. Is Carlos there? Let's join.
Hi, miss, sorry.
That's okay. That's fine. That's a drought. We are checking some of the, I mean, we have just started, so don't worry, acabamos de empezar. That's a drought. And how can we call this? How can we say tormenta, truenos, you know, that can be the picture. A storm, okay, a storm. This storm, for example, has lighting, and may have some thunders, right? Con rayos, con truenos. This storm, lighting, thunders. What about this? You have mentioned that. The killer wave.
Hurricane.
Killer wave.
This one.
Killer wave.
The killer wave for the tsunami. Tsunami, yes, or it's also called a killer wave. Yep. Do you guys know how a tsunami starts? Like what provokes a tsunami?
What?
Do you know, I mean, how a tsunami starts? Or
The rain.
An earthquake, right? An earthquake can provoke a tsunami, but when the earthquake happens where? Well, a quake, not in the earth. When there is a quake, when there is, you know, a strong movement, but in the ocean, it provokes the killer wave. Right?
Earthquakes, Miss.
Carlos, earthquake?
Yes,
Look at the
provoke
picture.
tsunami.
Look at this picture. This is an earthquake, right? It's the movement of, you know, the plaques of the earth, and it causes destruction. But for example, when there is a quake, when the tremor or the quake is near the ocean or in the ocean, causes a tsunami, right? It causes a tsunami. I don't know if you remember, but some years ago in India, near Sri Lanka, I think, there was a terrible earthquake near Christmas. I remember it was near Christmas, fue justo cerca de Navidad. And there was a terrible earthquake with a tsunami that killed thousands of people, thousands of tourists, of visitors that were on that part of India, Sri Lanka, Indonesia, for example. That was terrible. And there is a movie about that.
In Japan.
In Japan, for example,
In Japan to
there are many.
2012.
2011.
2011.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Well, I think Japan has buildings, or the constructions in Japan are earthquake resistant constructions, right? They, you know, they have a kind of construction technology that can maybe, how can I say, hold, aguantar. These constructions can hold quakes or earthquakes. What about this other? You have mentioned them?
Hurricane.
A hurricane, correct.
People?
Yeah, actually hurricane, typhoon, or monsoon are similar. The name changes depending on the position of in the word, como que por la ubicación cambia. Hurricanes are in North America, you know, or in our part. Monsoons and typhoons are similar to hurricanes, but they are called in other parts of the planet. But they are the same thing. Hurricanes, monsoons, typhoons are the same weather condition, the same weather, yeah, disaster maybe. Okay, then what else we have? What is this one?
Tornado.
It's like a heavy cloud, yeah, that takes away things. It's a tornado. And when there is too much rain, after a heavy rain, that can cause a flood. A flood, correct. Okay, there we have some natural disaster, right? Disasters or situations that cause a lot of damage and can kill people, but they are caused by nature. They are caused by nature, right? And we are going to talk about other types of disasters too. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on then. Okay, let me just erase because I need to save, I need to change. And let's check some of the information.
Mi audio está apagado.
I'm sorry, I may have missed. Creo que puse ahí un clic sin darme cuenta. Sorry, thanks. So please, I want you to have a look at these sentences, these examples, and here you have some information, some definitions. So I want you to help me match the word in color red with the correct definition. You guys are going to help me, okay? Diana, help me with number 1. I want you to draw a line, an arrow, una flecha. You can draw an arrow. Okay. Diana Mejia, number 1. Claudia Blas, do number 2, please. Marina, number 3. And Diana Mendez, number 4. Parts and then sunk in the ocean. Marina, you did number 3, right? Can you read, please?
Yes, miss. Teacher, what?
Vaccinations. Vaccinations
Vaccination prevent epidemics.
What does epidemics mean?
Lots of people infected by
Diseases, or maybe viruses. For example, what is happening now, right? We are having a virus and vaccinations, you know, the shots that we get for this virus, you know, the COVID virus, okay? Vaccinations prevent these kind of epidemics. And the last one, please, Diana Mendez, can you read number 4?
The cyclone destroyed houses. Strong winds.
Yes, cyclone means strong wind. Sorry, it was the red word. Okay, so just remember, because we are going to read about some historic disasters. Remember the word influenza, it's the flu. Sink is a verb, no, it means not float anymore. Epidemics is when lots of people get infected by diseases or viruses. And cyclone refers to strong winds. Remember that cyclone is similar to monsoon, similar to what other disaster, remember? Hurricane. Okay, they are similar. Let's move on. We are just checking. This information is not book, but it's connected to what we are going to have a look. Okay, I had this done. Okay, look here. There are some newspaper articles. Okay, there are some newspaper articles here. You can have a look at maybe the headings, los títulos, right? The heading, and you know, about some disasters we have. So here we have the sinking of the Titanic. We have a worldwide influenza epidemic, so similar to what we are having now. And an earthquake and tsunami, right? That killed over 250,000 people. I think this is the one I'm telling you, right? It was an earthquake and a tsunami. So we have similar information, and this is what you guys have in the book. So please, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to read. Look at the pictures and read the information, okay? Yes, individually, check. Biggest one, the biggest picture. What kind of disaster is this? What is the disaster?
The influenza epidemic.
Yeah, it's about the influenza epidemic. So there is an epidemic here, right? This is one of the disasters. What about this other one? What kind of disaster is it? What kind of, you know, severe weather condition is it? Or in the information? Blizzard, yes, it's a blizzard. Okay, so we have an epidemic, a blizzard. And the last one, it says war news. Famine in Somalia. What kind of disaster is that? What kind of terrible situation is it?
Worst food shortage.
It's a food shortage. Yes, a food shortage. So what does that mean? It's, I don't know if you can read that in your book, famine. The word is famine. Look at this poor little boy. Right? It's so skinny, so thin. because they don't have what to eat. So the disaster is famine.
famine,
So we have three situations, terrible situations, right? Historic disaster, it says. We have an epidemic. What is an epidemic? How can we describe an epidemic? It's a situation, right? Look at this. All these people.
Of the people infected.
Yeah, it is a situation in which many people get infected, right? Get infected with the same virus or with the same disease. That's an epidemic. Mhm. A blizzard, how can you describe a blizzard? Look at this. What is a blizzard? It's a snowfall, yeah, but it's a severe, snowfall, or maybe we can say it's a severe storm that includes snow and includes strong winds, okay? So we can describe as
Miss, podría ser también como snowstorm.
a snowstorm, correct? It's a severe snowstorm. It's a severe snowfall.
Okay, Miss.
No, caída de nieve, snowstorm. Yeah, because it includes a lot of snow and also strong winds, vientos fuertes. Yeah, so it's a storm. It's a snowstorm. And famine, how can we describe famine?
They need food.
Yeah, it means that these people need food. And what happens to them? They die because they don't have what to eat, right? So a famine, it's the situation, or maybe it's the condition, right? How can we describe right here? Famine. You have also the description there. Food shortages. Food shortages. It means that there is not enough food, right? So it is the situation where there's not It is the situation where there is not enough food to eat. So as a consequence, people can die, people can suffer, you know, especially children. That's very sad. That's terrible. Look at that. That picture makes me feel bad. All right. So here we have information about these historic disasters. Let's see. Carlos, could you read the information about the epidemic, please? Can you read this part?
Okay, Miss. The influenza epidemic of
1918.
1919 left an estimated 25 million people did worldwide.
Worldwide, you see, look at this. It's like what we are experiencing now, right? Similar to what we are having now. And this epidemic of this, 1919, 25 people dead worldwide in all the world. 25 million people died. Carlos, let's have Emily, please. The information about lizard.
Okay. In the February
2013,
major blizzard
a major
this the
northeastern major blizzard hit the northeastern US,
Use
remember
with
US.
heavy US with heavy small fat and high winds, small fan in some are reach 100 centimeters.
So
No
1 meter, imagine 1 meter of snow.
Causing
Causing
travel,
delays,
school closures, delay school closures, and power others.
Yes. So this blizzard says that, okay, that hit the northeastern part of the United States, and it says, okay, that in some areas reach 100 centimeters, so 1 meter. 1 meter of snow is a lot. Causing travel delays, it means that there were no trains or no buses, no airplanes. They had to cancel flights, cancel, trips. School closures, schools closed because of this severe weather storm. And power outages. What does power outages mean? What does that mean, guys? Power outage. What do you think it means? When there is no light, when there is no electricity. Very good, Claudia. Yes, a power outage is when there is no electricity, no light, no electricity. Okay, so I want you guys to discuss a little bit. Yes, I'm going to send you to a breakout room. So here we have information about some natural disasters, some historic disasters, some of them related to weather, some of them related to health, la salud. And well, this is, a terrible situation that is connected to poverty, la pobreza. And that brings famine and brings other bad conditions. So I want you guys to work with a partner. Let me stop sharing right here. And I want you.
When a story about natural disasters such as epidemics, famines, and weather emergencies appear in the news, are you interested in knowing about them? Why or why not? Why do newspapers often put stories like this on the front page? Not all disasters are caused by nature. What are some other kinds of disasters? What are some of their causes?
Okay, please, I want you guys to take some time to
Floods.
Floods, correct. What else, Diana Mendez? Another one? Tsunamis, okay. Who else? Who can help? Marina, do you remember another?
A flood?
Floods, yeah, Carlos mentioned floods. Claudia, any other natural disasters? Storms, right? Emily, another one? For example, remember we check? Those are natural disasters. Eruption, yes, volcano eruption. Those are natural disasters. But what about man-made disasters? Desastres hechos por el hombre or causados por el hombre. Some man-made disasters. What can you think of? You can get information on the internet, maybe if you want. We can think of, Carlos mentioned famine, right? Famine is when there is less food, there is not enough food, right? And people die because they don't have what to eat. This is one. What else? How can you say, for example, derrames de petróleo? How can you say that? That's a man-made disaster. Can you search on the internet? Can you? Oil spills. What else? Oh, Diana, I think you mentioned deforestation, right? Deforestation, yes, is another one. What else? What else? What other
Fires?
disasters do you think? Fires, okay, that's true. Mhm.
Verdadero, falso.
Climate change. Yeah, actually, global warming, you mean? El calentamiento global, yes. So, yeah, caused by us. Nuclear accidents, yes. Global warming.
Me is a question.
Huh?
Icons.
Carlos,
Miss,
excuse me?
question. Miss, Russia has submarines that can generate tsunamis of great magnitude. Will it be
Wow.
valid?
Sure, you know, these countries like Russia and you know the most powerful countries around the world, they have some nuclear weapons, right? They have esas armas nucleares, you know, they have nuclear weapons. For example, that you say that this nuclear weapon, which is a submarine, can cause an earthquake or a tsunami.
Yes, Miss.
Imagine that. Wow. Yep. The use of nuclear weapon. How can we say contamination? That's also caused by us.
Contamination.
Contamination, yeah. There is another word for that.
Pollution.
Pollution, yes. Pollution. Mhm. What else? What else? How can you say, for example, accidentes de tránsito? Traffic accidents or car crashes, yeah. Traffic accidents. Or car
Radiation
crashes.
means
Radiation, that's true. We can also have here, we have car crashes or traffic accidents, plane crashes. Imagine when there is a plane crash, most people die, right? Crashes. Do you remember what happened on a November 11? It was in 2001, del 2001 fue, ¿no?
Ah, okay.
That was a terrorist attacked. Mhm. That was a terrible terrorist attacked, right? The attack to the Twin Towers, and that was a terrible event, right? Historic event. Are there any other? You mentioned forest destruction, yeah, deforestation, you mentioned that. How can we say el arrojo de basura o el botar basura? Check on the internet. That's also a serious problem.
Throw garbage.
Yeah, throw garbage, that's like botar basura, but as a noun, it would be like waste dumping. I don't know if you can get that. Waste dumping, because dumping refers to throw garbage, for example, near rivers, near the ocean, you know, and they have like bunches of garbage, you know, and that pollutes the soil, the air, the water, you know. Here we have some other disasters, man-made disasters, right? Disasters caused by us, by men, by humans. Okay, so this is basically what we are going to talk about. right? These kind of terrible situations. And right now we are going to listen. I want you guys to close your books, okay? Have your books closed for a moment. Have you taken notes? Have you finished? ¿Tomaron apuntes? Have you taken notes?
Yes.
Save screen, yes? All right, yeah. But have your books closed, please. I want you to close your books. Let me stop sharing. Let me go to this. So what kind of conversation are they having? What is the conversation about? What happened? A natural disaster. What kind of natural disaster are they talking about?
Flood.
A flood. Yes, there was a terrible flood. Okay, there was a terrible flood. Was the flood in a rural area or in the city? Don't check the book, okay? Did you hear that? Let me play it again. Listen again. Try to get some other information, other details.
Read and listen to a conversation about a natural disaster.
Oh my goodness, take a look at this.
Why? What's going on?
There's this enormous flood in Slovakia. Look at these people on the roof. The water's up to the second floor. And look at these cars. I sure hope there was no one in them.
That sounds horrendous. Any word on casualties?
It says no reports of deaths or injuries so far, but it's in the middle of a city, for goodness sake.
Is the flood in the city or in a rural area?
In the city?
In the
the
city,
city.
in the middle
The
of a
city.
city, in the middle of a city. So it was like downtown.
The death toll could end up being huge.
And can you imagine the property damage?
Well, they estimate almost 50% of the houses in town are underwater already.
So what happened to the houses and the buildings of that place, of that city? Did you hear the number of, like, the percentage? Listen.
The houses in town are underwater already. Well, they estimate almost 50% of the houses in town are underwater already.
What is the percentage of houses that are underwater? 50%. 50% of the houses are underwater.
What a disaster.
I wonder how this flood compares to the one they had in New Orleans a few years back. Remember that?
You bet I do. How could anyone forget? And that flooded almost half the city, too.
Let's turn on CNN. They usually have breaking news about stuff like this.
So what are they going to do? Because she is checking that information about the flood on her laptop, right? She's probably checking some information on the internet. So what are they going to do to get more information about the flood? What are they going to do? Listen to this part, in the last part.
Usually have breaking news about stuff like this. Let's turn on CNN. They usually have breaking news about stuff like this.
What are they going to do?
CNN.
Yeah, they are going to watch CNN. They are going to turn on the television to watch the news, right? To watch a channel, CNN. Okay. Please open your books now. Thank you. That was good. Good listening. Let me stop just sharing right here. We are going to listen to this. Oh, it's surprised. Okay. Let's listen. Let's listen to it again. And I want you guys to read. Okay. The conversation is between Rachel and Tom, right? And what they are doing, they are talking about a natural disaster. You have mentioned that the natural disaster is a flood. A flood. Okay, let's just play that again. Oh, I need to give it a bit of sun because of this thing.
Read and listen to a conversation about a natural disaster.
Oh my goodness, take a look at this.
Why? What's going on?
There's this enormous flood in Slovakia. Look at these people on the roof. The water's up to the second floor. And look at these cars. I sure hope there was no one in them.
That sounds horrendous. Any word on casualties?
It says no reports of deaths or injuries so far, but it's in the middle of a city, for goodness sake. The death toll could end up being huge.
And can you imagine the property damage?
Well, they estimate almost 50% of the houses in town are underwater already.
What a disaster.
I wonder how this flood compares to the one they had in New Orleans a few years back. Remember that?
You bet I do. How could anyone forget? And that flooded almost half the city, too.
Let's turn on CNN. They usually have breaking news about stuff like this.
Okay. So they are talking about this natural disaster. Where did it happen? Where did the flood happen? Can you identify in the conversation? Where was it?
In Slovakia.
In Slovakia, right? Does the woman mention, that's Rachel, right? Does Rachel mention if there were some people that got injured? That people that got hurt maybe during the disaster? Does she? Yeah, she says no reports of deaths or injuries. Yeah, injured people, right? Okay, so luckily the people are okay. The only problem is that 50% of the houses were destroyed or are underwater, right? This is what they say. All right. We have checked most of the information. Now you guys are going to work on this exercise where you are going to identify some of the vocabulary from the conversation. I want you guys to check exercise C. Exercise C. Maybe you can do it in pairs, so I can give you 3 or 4 minutes, no more than that. Tatiana is also in class and she didn't participate in the previous activity. Please, I want you guys to work on it. Let me just maybe let you work with a part. All right, can I have any volunteers? Casualties refers to the people that got injured or maybe that were killed or that died in an event. Thank you. Marina, can you do the next?
Yes. Two-word phrase that means the destruction of or harm to buildings, cars, and other things that belong to victims of an event is property damage.
Property damage, yes. How do we translate that in Spanish? How do we say that in Spanish? Property damage.
Daño de la construcción.
A la propiedad, ¿no? Daño a la propiedad, yes. Property damage. Thank you. What about the last one? Tatiana, can you do number 4? No? That is, no? Any of you? Carlos? No, you don't find the word. It's a 2-word expression. It's a phrase, but it has 2 words. So look for a word. Look for a phrase with 2 words that is used in the conversation to describe the first news reports of an important event. In Spanish, we say, oh, who said that? In Spanish, we say noticias de último minuto.
Breaking news.
Breaking news, yes. Breaking news. That's the phrase or that's the word. Breaking news. So for example, you are watching your favorite TV show and when there is something so important or it's actually a big situation, a big problem or serious event, they interrupt, you know, what you are watching, your favorite TV show is interrupted and they say breaking news and they give us the information. Okay, so we have checked the vocabulary and now it's time for you guys to discuss a little bit some of the advantages and disadvantages about the sources. Check this word, sources. It says news sources. How do we translate that? Check your news sources and write an advantage and a disadvantage for each one. So sources are where you can get news. Where can you get news from? You can get news when you read a newspaper, when you maybe check some sites on the internet, or maybe when you watch television or you hear the radio in a magazine. Word of mouth. Word of mouth is when another person gives you the information. So these are sources. What do sources mean? Fuentes.
Fuentes.
Yes. News sources, ¿no? Fuentes de noticias. Where do you get the news from? Como que de dónde obtienen las noticias? Where do you know about what is happening? So please, you have here, well, a newspaper you have already done. I mean, you have an example. An advantage, for example, of reading news, right? The newspaper. You can save an article. It means that you can cut, you know, and save an article. A disadvantage, not as up-to-date as online news, right? Yeah. When you get information about something, maybe an accident, if you check online, you can get more information, right? Latest information, but if you get in a newspaper, okay, only it's printed once and the information that you have is that one. But if there is extra information, okay, you can get it online. So that's a disadvantage, right? No tan actualizado como las noticias en internet. But maybe also sometimes an advantage is that online news may not be completely true, right? Okay, so here you have a list of news sources, and I want you to think of one advantage, one positive side, and one disadvantage of it. All right, so I'm going to send you to two groups now. There will be two groups. Actually, there are how many? 6 or 7? Seven students. Yes, how many of you there are? 7.
Miss.
Tell me.
Miss, disculpe, ¿puedo salir un momento? Lo que pasa es que mi pantalla se ha puesto negra y cuando se ha encendido nuevamente está borroso todo.
Okay.
Y
Yeah,
quiero reiniciar mi laptop.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, join again. I'm going to send your classmates to the breakout room and then you can join one of the groups, okay? Please, guys, you are going to have like about 7 or 8 minutes to work on the speaking activity on page 51, and that will be in groups, okay? In small groups, actually just 2 groups. And Diana will be part of one of you. Yeah, there are just 2 rooms, 3 students. When Diana joins, she will be part of any of the groups. Okay, guys, you can join. Yeah, this one, we are going to learn how to convey a message. Convey is similar to pass. Pass a message. Talk about disasters, about news sources, and now you are going to convey a message. All right, convey a message or pass a message. So this is the picture that you guys have in the book, right? We are on page 53. What is happening in the picture? What do you see? Give me different ideas. Describe the picture first. What do you see? Diana Mejia, one idea. What do you see in this picture? Say something. What do you see?
Well, I think that
who are they? Where are they? What's happening? You don't have to read yet. Just tell me what you think.
They are conversation. They are
having a conversation.
They are having a conversation.
Yeah, they of course yeah, they are having a conversation. Okay, Anita. Yeah, they are having a conversation because the woman has, you know, the phone, right? She's holding a phone. What can be my phone? Myself. Yeah, she's having the phone. right? The phone. And she's like this, right? So they are having a conversation about that call. Tatiana, what can you say? What else is happening? Couple, right? They are married, they are husband and wife, and the man is going to work, says Tatiana. Okay, yeah. How do you know he's going to work, Tatiana?
Because he is for the sweets.
Yeah, he's wearing a suit. Well, he's actually holding his jacket, but he is wearing formal clothes, right? And he's holding a suitcase too, right? And he's opening his car. So yeah, he's going to work. And the woman or his wife is like saying something about a phone call, right? To take the phone call. Thank you. Claudia, and what do you think is happening? What is who's calling him? Speculate, okay? What do you think? Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's carrying a message for him. Yeah, but it's actually about a phone call, right? Who is calling? Who do you think is calling? It must be important, right? Because she went running with the phone. Uh-huh. It could be about a disaster, sure. Okay, very good. Please look at the conversation, read the conversation in the book. Check the conversation. Thank you. Very good. Just check the conversation. We are going to listen to the conversation in just a moment. Check the conversation, and I have here a few questions. Why doesn't the man talk to his parents?
She said,
Why? Mm-hmm.
Please tell me to turn on the TV. There's a store on the way.
Marina, oh yeah, but actually check the question. Why doesn't the man talk to his parents? They are on the line.
She's late on the work.
He's running late, you know, he's going to be late to get to work. Yeah, so he doesn't have time, to answer the phone. That's true. Yes, because he's in a hurry or he's late to get to work, right? What advice does he give? What advice does he give?
Then turn on TV.
Sure.
Turn on TV.
The man says or tells his wife to let his parents know that they should turn on the TV, right? This is the advice. This is like the kind of message. His parents should watch the news because there is going to be a storm, right? This is the advice he gives. Okay, nice. So you see, in that conversation, we are going to listen to the conversation now. In that conversation, we are checking that the context is about conveying a message or passing a message. We are going to parents. He doesn't have time actually. But yeah, he tells the woman to pass the message to them. Let me just change the page. This book is kind of slow. Sometimes it says doesn't have no responde, or I receive many messages here. Yeah, we are going to, give me a second. We are going to start with the conversation first, okay? And then we will connect it to the grammar. Okay, we have already analyzed the picture. Now we are going to listen. Listen to it. Let me just check the sound. Yeah, it's okay. Please Listen to the conversation.
Read and listen to someone conveying a message.
I'm on the phone with your parents. Would you like to say hello?
I would, but I'm running late.
Anything you'd like me to tell them?
Yes, please tell them to turn on the TV. There's a storm on the way.
Will do.
I want you to repeat now. Listen, and let's practice the rhythm and the intonation, okay?
Listen again and repeat. Then practice the conversation model with a partner.
I'm on the phone with your parents.
Can you repeat? I'm on the phone with your parents.
I'm on
Such here. What is what the man says? Or what does he tell his wife?
He say, please tell them to turn on the TV. There's a storm on the way.
Sure, this is the part, right? Please tell them to turn on the TV. There is a storm on the way. This is the message. This is what we are going to study now. We are going to learn how to pass a message, okay? When a person speaks or says something, the person that hears, and then when that person, the second person passes the message to another person, we need to consider some changes. There are some rules that we have to follow in order to pass a message, okay? So we are going to go to the grammar right now. And let me just stop sharing right here in order to go to my presentation. Please, I'm going to give you about 4 minutes to read the information in the book, read the grammar box, okay, to have an idea. So we are going to start and we are going to check the first part of the grammatical structure in this new unit, which is indirect speech or reported speech, okay? This is the name of the grammatical structure. Indirect speech o el habla indirecta or reported speech, ¿no? El habla reportada. We are going to pass messages here. So before we start checking the rules, I want you to check these examples. Let's analyze these examples, these situations. Look at this picture. The woman says, hello, Peter. Come for dinner on Sunday, right? This is something she says. She's talking to Peter. And then Peter says, okay, I'll be there, right? This is a conversation. They are talking on the phone. They are talking directly to the other person, all right? But how can we report this message, for example? Look at this idea. Come for dinner on Sunday. This kind of idea, okay, is not a statement, no es una oración, right? Because it says, come for dinner on Sunday. It starts with a verb, right? Está empezando con un verbo. It says, come for dinner on Sunday. So what kind of expression, what kind of sentence is that? For example, when I say, study for the exam, okay? Don't be late to class. We are going to do it in reported speech or in indirect speech. This is direct speech, actually. Esto todavía es habla directa because she's talking. Now she is giving that message. But this sentence, come for dinner on Sunday, for example, these type of ideas, you can start here, you start with a verb, right? Está empezando con un verbo. When I say, for example, study a lot for the exam. Call me when you get home. These kind of ideas are called, okay, here, imperatives. Oh, sorry.
Okay, imperatives.
Yes, This is an example of an imperative, right? It's like giving an instruction, an order, right? No le está diciendo, you can come for dinner on Saturday, on Sunday, no? There is no subject. It starts with a verb. Está empezando con un verbo. Come for dinner on Sunday. And he says, okay, I'll be there, okay? So this idea is an imperative. We are going to start learning how to use indirect speech with imperatives. Vamos a empezar primero a usar el habla indirecta con este tipo de ideas, con los imperativos. Remember, we use imperatives to give instructions or to state orders, ¿no? Para dar órdenes, instrucciones, so those are imperatives. How can you recognize an imperative? ¿Cómo reconocemos un imperative?
When start the verb.
With a verb. It starts with a verb. In affirmative, with a verb. But in negative, with an auxiliary. For example, say, study for the exam. Don't be late. Don't be absent to the final exam. We use the auxiliary, right? We use don't in negative, okay? Yes, vamos a empezar con ese punto. Cómo poder reportar este tipo de ideas, imperatives, ¿ya? Por aquí todavía no estamos en indirect speech. Estoy dando solo un ejemplo de un imperative. All right. So, let's see. Okay, look at this. I want you to check this idea. Mary said, you know, the verb say is very common, is one of the most common verbs when we want to report. The verb say, el verbo decir, right? And said is the past. But look, Mary said, comma, look at these symbols. How do you say comillas in English? Quotation marks. These are quotation marks. Do you have that?
Quotation marks?
Quotation, yeah. Yeah, you have that in the first rule, in the first grammatical structure in the book. In the first rule you have, don't use quotation marks. Ese es el nombre de comillas. Quotation marks, okay? It says, Mary said, comma, quotation marks, come for dinner on Sunday. Okay, look. Here, this idea is not indirect speech, okay? This is direct speech. Este es el habla directa. All right, this is direct speech. And I'm going to write it here because I don't want you to confuse. This is direct speech. This is direct speech, okay? When you use direct speech, you are going to use, oops, I want red. You are going to have the comma, and you are going to have quotation marks. And what you say, the original words will be written in quotation marks, okay? So it means that come for dinner on Sunday are the original words. Ahí estoy usando las palabras o lo que exactamente se dijo. This is direct speech. Ahí estoy usando el habla directa, okay? With a comma and the original words in quotation marks. Now, if I want to report, if I want to make some changes and report, I'm going to use indirect speech. Or reported speech is the same. Indirect or reported speech. This is what we are going to study. Actually, we're going to check both, but basically this. Indirect speech or reported speech. Look at the change. Dense cuenta en el cambio. It says, Mary said, to come for dinner on Sunday. What happened? The verb in, remember, come for dinner on Sunday, it's what? ¿Qué dijimos que era come for dinner on Sunday? ¿Qué tipo de ejemplo? It's an imperative. Yeah, look. When you want to report an imperative, for example, here we are using the verb, you know, in imperatives we use base form, right? A base form. Come, it's a base form. I mean, look at the change. Miren el cambio. We use base form in an imperative because this is a direct speech, is the original message, the original words. But in indirect speech, you have to change this base form into, ¿a qué cambia ese base form? An infinitive form, an infinitive. Okay, an infinitive form. What is an infinitive? Remember, it's two
plus verb.
Yes. Mary said no comma, no quotation marks in reported speech, no comma, no quotation marks, but you use an infinitive. So from base form to infinitive. En el habla directa. Yes, Marina.
¿Los dos significan lo mismo?
Yes, but no. Not exactly, because this is direct speech. Este es el habla directa. So in a way, the meaning is similar, is the same, yeah, but the rule is different. In direct speech, you say the same words. En el habla directa repetimos exactamente lo mismo. And the punctuation is necessary. Esta puntuación la tengo que poner. Okay, so I pause. Por ejemplo, al momento de hablar digo, Mary said, come for dinner on Sunday. Direct speech. Estoy repitiendo lo que exactamente dijo la persona. But in indirect speech, okay, or in reported speech, I say, Mary said to come for dinner on Sunday. So I have a change here. Tengo un cambio from base form to infinitive. But in meaning is similar, could be, but it's different. The structure, la estructura es diferente. So we are going to use this basically. Okay, Tatiana?
Yes, Miss. For example, the indirect speech, we can change. For example, Mary says to come for dinner on Sunday because it's very important for her, no?
Sure.
And the direct speech is the same, o sea, is equal.
We repeat the exact words, las palabras exactas. For example, y ahorita vamos a ver con más ejemplos. Listen to me. I say, do your homework. Do your homework. Give the direct speech. ¿Cómo sería en direct speech? ¿Cómo ustedes dirían? Yo acabo de decir esto. Do your homework.
Teacher says.
Okay. Direct speech primero.
The teacher said, do you hope?
Said. The teacher said, comma. Quotation marks, right?
Do you homework?
Homework.
Where is the symbol? Yeah. So you are repeating my words. Ahí están repitiendo lo mismo. The teacher said, do your homework. But what about indirect speech? Que esto es lo que realmente se usa, ¿no? Cuando reportamos a una tercera persona.
The
teacher
teacher said
to do
to do
The
for
teacher, sorry. The teacher said
to do your homework.
to do, yes, infinitive. Your has to change to. También tendría que cambiar aquí. Okay, do, yes, do changes to do. It's okay. But I also have to change the possessive adjective. También tendría que cambiar aquí, your. Se supone que ustedes están reportándose entre ustedes o uno de ustedes a los demás y son los alumnos. Entonces, ¿cómo dirían? La profesora dijo que hagan su tarea o que hagamos nuestra tarea. La situación es que ustedes son todos alumnos y uno de ustedes está reportando lo que yo dije. Entonces, ¿qué dirán? ¿Cómo se dirá en español? Dirán, la profesora dijo que hagan su tarea o la profesora dijo que hagamos nuestra tarea.
Hagamos.
Yeah, you are part of the group, right?
Homework.
Our homework. Ahí
Our
es donde
homework.
vamos a ver que necesitamos aplicar otros cambios. Yes. Our homework. Mhm. You see, but basically the rule, aquí la primera regla, when you report an imperative, you have to use the verb in infinitive. This is the rule. Okay? Yep.
Yes, miss.
Yeah, let's continue because I have other examples. Don't worry, we are going to check that. It's like a game. Esto es como un jueguito.
Okay, direct speech, when you report what someone said, quoting the exact words.
Quoting. Remember that we use quotation marks. So we quote the exact words. Okay. Let's check this example. Let me move. It says, please tell them to watch the news. Remember that was part of the message in the conversation. What does that mean in Spanish? Please tell them to watch the news.
Por favor, diles que vean las noticias.
Okay, very good. Yeah, this is what the man tells his wife to tell his parents, right? In the conversation. Please tell them to watch the news. We have checked direct and indirect. Acabamos de ver el habla directa e indirecta con un ejemplo. So what kind of example is this? Direct speech or indirect speech?
Indirect speech.
Indirect, right?
Indirect.
Indirect, to watch. We have the infinitive here, right? So, for example, this is indirect speech. And I say, Luis said, watch the news. Esta vendría a ser el habla directa, ¿no? Las palabras originales. ¿Qué es lo que dijo? Watch the news. But I am reporting, please tell them to watch the news. From base form to infinitive. Remember? De forma base, en el direct speech, cambia a infinitivo en el habla indirecta, en el habla reportada. All right, this is the direct speech. This is indirect speech. Very good. So I say, Luis said to watch the news. This is indirect speech. Okay, remember that in indirect speech here, we don't have the comma. Okay, I'm sorry, the no quotation here. And this is an imperative. We have mentioned you can recognize an imperative because it starts with a verb, a base form. Okay, so this imperative changes to watch the news, to infinitive. All right, so how can you report imperatives? ¿Cómo reportamos los imperativos? Using an infinitive verb. In indirect speech, an imperative becomes an infinitive. This is the first rule. Is that clear? Yes, direct speech. All right, let's practice a little. Look, this is what I say. Imagine I'm saying this. Hey guys, practice sports. Don't eat junk food. Go for a walk in the morning. I want you to report. Prepare, you can write. A ver, preparen, escriban, para que practiquen. Indirect volunteers. I mean, do it on your paper, ahí en su hojita, on a piece of paper, or you can tell me orally.
She said practice sports.
Indirect speech, Dianita, indirect speech.
Okay.
She said to practice sports, Claudia. We say, if you want to say a nosotros, sería told us. Ya vamos a ver el otro verbo que usamos para reportar. Cuando usamos el verbo say, no mencionamos a quién. A pesar de que es el verbo decir, ¿no? Ahí tienen el verbo tell y el verbo say. En español, decir, tenemos uno solo ahí. But if you want to say decirnos, ¿no? Ella nos dijo, tendríamos que decir she told us. Tendremos que usar el verbo tell. Con say no decimos said to us. Said, just she said. Okay, so she said, how would it be? ¿Cómo cambiaría el practice sports? Yo les estoy dando esos, you know, these imperatives. Practice sports. The teacher said,
practice.
To practice sports.
to practice sports. Simplemente cambiamos aquí el base form, right? Practice, to practice sports. What else? The second one. Look, this is a negative. Don't eat. Ahí tengo un imperative en forma negativa. Si yo estoy usando un infinitive para ponerlo en habla reportada, ¿cómo cambiaría ese don't eat? Tendrá que ser un infinitive in negative, right?
The teacher said not to eat junk food.
The teacher said not to eat junk food. Very good. Not to eat. Para negar o un imperative en reported speech, vamos a usar not to. Yeah. And the last one, Carlos, go for a walk in the morning. La profesora dijo, ¿no? The teacher said.
The teacher said, go for.
Go is the base form. Esto es forma base, go.
Okay.
¿A qué cambia? Remember, a infinitive. The teacher said.
Gone.
Infinitive, Carlos. El infinitive de go. ¿Cómo convertimos a un verbo en forma base a infinitivo? ¿Qué le agregamos?
To.
Tiene que anteponerse to. To go, right?
To
so
go for
the teacher said to go for a walk.
The teacher said to go for a walk in the morning.
To go for a walk in the morning. You see? You are reporting. Yes. Ahí están reportando. You are reporting imperatives. The base form changes to infinitive. If it's negative, don't, and the verb, you say not to on the base form. Okay? Yeah, let's keep practicing. Yeah, so you are using the rule. That's okay. Let's keep moving. Let's keep. I have some extra ideas. Now, consider this. We are going to check the rules and then we go to the book, okay? You are going to do this and you are going to see that it's a piece of cake to use this indirect speech. Let's have Claudia, please. Can you read this part? Make changes. Okay, so you have to consider changes in pronouns. Los pronombres van a cambiar. Time expression, las frases adverbiales de tiempo van a cambiar. When you use indirect speech to preserve the original meaning of the speaker. For example, I have direct speech, right? Because I am using the comma and the quotation marks. It says, she told Matt. Look, here I have the other word. This is another common verb. The verb tell, right? El verbo decir. And I can mention the person. No? She told Matt, call me tomorrow. Ella le dijo a Matt, llámame mañana. Ahí estoy en habla directa. How would it be in indirect speech? Diana Mendez, how would you change this? Direct speech into indirect speech. She told Matt, call me tomorrow. Because it's a rule, es una regla que tenemos que cambiar tanto los pronombres, posesivos, frases adverbiales. Al momento de reportar, por ejemplo, tomorrow es un cambio, a pesar de que en español decimos, no, mañana, al día siguiente, lo mismo. In English, when you use tomorrow, la frase que se usa en habla indirecta es the next day. Por ahí ya grábenselo, acuérdense. So, she told Matt to call her the next day. Ahí ya estoy diciendo, ¿no? Ella le dijo a Matt que la llamara al día siguiente. ¿Ok? Es diferente a decir, ella le dijo a Matt, llámame mañana. Ahí estoy repitiendo exactamente lo que se dijo. Right? No hay ningún cambio en el habla directa, pero en el habla indirecta yo tengo que considerar esos cambios. Subject pronouns, or the subjects, yeah, pronouns, possessive adjectives, adverbial expressions, change. Is that okay? All right, so we continue here. We are using, no, Diana, we are using imperatives. Este es un imperative. Llámame mañana. Right, this is an imperative. The verb is in base form. When you report, you have to use an infinitive. Si aquí yo estoy diciendo, ella dijo a Matt, llámame mañana. Ahora cuando reporto, ella le dijo a Matt que la llamara. Her ya cambia porque está ella diciéndole que lo llame. Que la llame, que la llame, que la llame, ¿no? Al día siguiente. Is that okay? Claudia, Carlos, Diana, Tatiana, Marina, Emily, Diana Mejia. Where is Diana? Diana Mejia, where did she go? Is that okay? We are going to practice, yeah. So you have to consider those little changes. Esos pequeños cambios hay que considerarlos. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. We have direct speech, quotation marks, comma. Indirect speech, we use an infinitive. Now, we are going to check how to report commands. I'm sorry, there is a mistake. Commands with double M. Double M. Doble M era aquí, chicos. Look, commands are like imperatives. Es lo mismo, ¿no? Reporting commands or reporting imperatives. Look, here we have affirmative commands and negative commands. Look, my teacher said, do your homework. This is direct speech. Indirect speech, my teacher said to do my homework. Okay, this is indirect speech. In negative, the teacher said, don't talk in class. This is direct speech because it's in quotation marks. Indirect speech now, the teacher said, not to talk in class. Okay? This is affirmative and this is negative. In negative we say not to. Ya no usamos don't para reportar un imperative. We use not to. Tenemos que seguir usando el infinitive. ¿Y cómo negamos un infinitive? Not to. All right? Is that okay? Yeah. Yeah, let's do this orally and then we go to the book. Look here. This is a situation. Check the situation. This is the situation right here. Can help me. Emily, please, can you read the information about Amanda? Can you help me read?
Amanda is planning a surprise party for her birthday. Surprise party for her birthday. Here are some messages for the guest.
The guest, para los huéspedes, para los, ¿no? Los invitados. Okay, some messages. And we have 4 messages. One message for Beth, and the message is bring soda and crackers for the party. For Daniel, don't spend more than $10 on the gift. Guys, don't say anything to Albert. And for Sue, buy a birthday cake for Albert. Okay? So I want you to think and report these messages. Report. Remember, Amanda is saying the messages. Si queremos mencionar a quién, told. Usamos el verbo tell. Recuerden que tenemos los verbos say and tell. Tell can be used with the object, ¿no? Amanda le dijo a Beth. Amanda told Beth.
Amanda told Beth to bring.
Repeat again. Repeat the verb. Amanda told Beth.
Bring.
¿A qué cambia bring?
Bring.
¿A qué cambiaba el base form? Estamos reportando igual. Imperatives, instructions. No, en este caso son como instrucciones, no son órdenes, but it's the same.
Bring.
Solo bring, uso bring, that's it. ¿A qué cambia este base form?
To.
¿A qué cambiaba? To bring, a infinitive. Okay, repeat again, Tatiana.
Amanda told Beth to bring. Soda and
crackers
for the party.
For the party. That's it. Amanda told Beth to bring soda and crackers for the party. That's it. So you just make it an infinitive. Lo conviertes en infinitive. That's it. Thank you. Let's have Carlos report the message for Daniel. It's negative.
Daniel.
No, Amanda empezarías. Amanda le dijo a Daniel.
Amanda, say.
Ok, ya no iría Daniel si usas say. You can say Amanda told. Ahí sí. Okay. Amanda told Daniel.
Amanda told Daniel. Don't.
Ya no usamos don't, remember, we don't use don't. Okay. ¿A qué cambiaría?
Do.
¿Cómo negamos ese verbo? ¿Cómo lo hacemos infinitive, pero en negación? Acá estamos usando to bring, pero en tu caso el ejemplo es don't spend. ¿Cómo niego o cómo convierto spend a infinitive, pero en forma negativa? Simplemente le agrego not to. Remember?
Not to spend. Spend more than
$10 on the gift.
more than $10 on the gift.
Yes. Amanda told Daniel not to spend more than $10 on the gift. Right? Amanda le dijo a Daniel que no gaste más de $10 en el regalo. Not to. Simplemente para negar un don't, not to in reported speech. Thank you. What about the next? Who can try? Emily, can you try? Guys, don't say anything to Albert.
I think not to say anything to Albert.
Okay, and the reporting idea, la primera parte que es básica para saber que estamos reportando, tengo que mencionar quién dijo, qué dijo. So, use this, usas esto. Amanda told told the guys, ¿no? Le dijo a los chicos, told the guys. Or Amanda said, si quieres, y no mencionas guys.
Amanda told guys.
Yeah, told the guys.
Told the guys not to say.
Not to say, very good. Not to say.
Anything to Albert.
Not to say anything to Albert. That's it. Very good. Thank you. And what about the last one? Marina, can you do the last?
Okay.
Buy a birthday cake for Albert.
Amanda told Sue to buy Alberto's birthday cake.
To buy a birthday cake for Albert. Yeah, you change the last part, but you can say the same. You can repeat. So to buy, right? Basically that. That's it. That's correct. To buy. You use an infinitive. You see? That's all. Okay. Is that clear? You are going to practice now with the information about, you know, about disasters because these examples are about other things, but it's basically the same rule. When you report an infinitive, an imperative, which uses a base form, remember that you have to change it to an infinitive. So please, I want you to take some time, some minutes to do the grammar practice. Exercises A, well, it says pair working B. Do you prefer to do it alone or with a partner? What do you think is best for you? Memorizar unos pequeños cambios. So here, this changes to that. Oops. Yeah, help me with the next. Let's finish before you guys leave. Not to be home too late that afternoon. 5. Maria always tells them. María siempre les dice a ellos. Don't leave your doors open. No dejen sus puertas abiertas. Carlos, please do it.
Maria always tells
them
not to leave.
Not to leave, correct?
Your doors open.
Your
doors
changes. Ese your tendría que cambiar, porque no, dice, María siempre les dice, ¿a quién? A ellos, ¿no? Siempre les dice, no dejen sus puertas abiertas. Pero cuando reporto, María siempre les dice a ellos que no dejen, en este caso nosotros usamos lo mismo, pues, ¿no? Sus puertas abiertas, pero en inglés sí hay un cambio. El su de ellos, porque ese es el su de ustedes, ¿no? El su de ellos. ¿Cómo es el su de ellos? Their, right? Sus de ellos. Their doors open.
Open.
their doors open. And number 6, Carl told me, call me when you hear the news. Carl me dijo, llámame cuando escuches las noticias. So how would it be? Diana Mejia, help me.
Okay, Carl told me
Carl told me.
to call her.
Her? Car? A car.
Es eso. To him.
Yes. Call him. Yes, to call him.
To call him when I heard the news.
When I hear the news. What is the text? When I hear the news. Porque lo literal, lo que dijo exactamente es, Carl me dijo, ¿no? A mí me dijo. Llámame cuando tú escuches las noticias. Entonces, cuando reporto a otra persona, yo le digo, ¡oh! Carl me dijo que lo llame. Ese lo es a él, ¿no? Que lo llame cuando yo escuche las noticias. Entonces, hay varios cambios. Right? How was that? Can we do the next? Is that okay? Yeah, can we finish, guys? So next class, we just work on the pronunciation, the pair word, hacemos un review, hacemos el pair word y nos toca ver la otra parte del grammar. Seguimos con indirect speech, pero ahí sí va a haber tiempo, ya sí ahí alístense. No es difícil, pero ahí sí hay más cambios. Can we finish? Can we do B? Yes, can you guys stay? Si nos demoramos un poquito, can you stay a few minutes? Yeah, let's work on B. Can I clean this part? Can I erase this part? You finish, right? Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
miss.
Nice. Let's do B and that's it. Yeah, I think we can do it. Next class, we have to practice. This is just practice, guys. Es todo lo que se dice, practicar y yo repetir y reportar y reportar. This is just practice. Part B. Now, it says, for each sentence, say what you think the speaker's original words were. So this is the opposite. Here, we have indirect speech. Nos están dando indirect speech and we have to write in quotation marks the original words. Okay, so we have to write direct speech. Tenemos que cambiarlo a las palabras originales. Nos toca poner el habla directa. Number 1 is done. It says, he asked them to call him when it starts raining. Acá tenemos otro verbo muy usado también. Check this. El verbo ask, el verbo pedir o preguntar. Ok, en este caso es pedir, ¿no? Lo están traduciendo como pedir. Él les pidió, ¿no? Oops, my battery. Él les pidió a ellos, él les pidió que lo llamaran, que lo llamen cuando empiece a llover. I got frozen, right? It was funny. Yeah. Él les pidió que lo llamen cuando empiece a llover. So the original words, please call me when it starts raining. So this is what we have to do. Vamos a tener que escribir el habla directa, the original words. Check number 2. The newspaper said to leave a window or door open when there is going to be a severe storm. So how can we report that? How can we report that? How would it be?
The newspaper
Okay.
said,
The newspaper said, yeah. The newspaper said, coma, right? Tendría que poner aquí la coma. Coma. Okay.
question
No
mark,
to question marks. Very good.
leave, window,
Question marks. Leave with capital. Aquí le pongo en mayúscula. Sorry. Leave a window or door open when there is going to be a severe a storm, right? And the quotation. Is that okay?
Yes,
Don't
miss.
forget to add the comma. The comma, don't forget the comma. Comma and quotation marks. Omit two. Number 3, she told his parents to read the emergency instructions in the newspaper. Who can help me?
She told
Marina, she told his parents. Yeah.
Comma.
She told his parents, comma.
Dos. No me acuerdo el nombre.
She told his parents, comma. No to, right? No infinitive. It's just read the emergency instructions in the newspapers. Ah, question marks. Yeah, between question marks. And don't forget, read in capital letter. Ahí sí le ponen mayúscula, ¿no? Porque está empezando la idea. Read the emergency instructions in the newspaper. Claudia, help me with number 4, please. Yes, so you say, Ray told Allison. Quotation marks, sorry, yeah. Ray told Allison, yeah, very good. Wait. In the paper on Tuesday. Correct, very good. Quotation marks, yes. Number 5. Who can help me? Emily, can you try number 5?
She asked him,
comma,
comma, picking up some food. Las comillas irían desde
quotation marks, right? See here, quotation marks. Y esto lo voy a hacer en PowerPoint mejor. No lo tengo. To, yeah, pick up some food.
Some food for her on the way home.
She asked him, ¿no? Ella le pidió, si lo traduzco a lo que literalmente ella dijo es, ella le pidió a él. ¿Qué le dijo, no? Trae comida, trae un poco de comida para mí. Cuando estés, o sea, en camino a casa.
I am mine.
For,
My.
en vez de her, me. A mí, ¿no? Para mí, for me. For me on the way home, right? We need to make, make that change. Ese cambio sí tendría que ir. And the last one, what about the last? Who can help me with the last? Tatiana? Or Hussein? Anyone?
Okay. They told me, comma, question mark.
Quotation marks. Quotation, right?
Quotation mark. Don't wait.
Ah, sure, it's negative. Very good. No tengo espacio. Yeah. Okay, I will write here. Don't, Don't wait, until
the snow gets heavy.
Until the snow gets heavy. Yeah, that's it. Just on time. Yeah. Please listen. I want you to review the information about indirect speech. Lo que hemos visto hoy es cómo reportar simplemente instrucciones o pedidos, que todos empiezan con un verbo. Así que la regla está facilita porque de lo que está en forma base, ¿a qué cambia? ¿Cómo cambia el verbo? Cuando yo uso un imperative, que yo sé que empiezo con un verbo, cambia a infinitive, that's it. Y si es negative el imperative, don't, uso not to, right? Don't, for example, don't be late to class. The teacher said not to be late for class. Ok, eso es lo único que estamos viendo y algunos pequeños cambios en pronouns, adverbs of time, right? Next class, we are going to check how to report statements with other verb tenses. La próxima clase nos toca reportar todo, ya cualquier idea, presente, pasado, futuro. Y ahí sí tenemos que manejar muchos cambios, ¿no? Son más cambios ahí. Entonces, quiero que refuercen sin necesidad de ver lo otro, de repente si les da tiempo pueden revisarlo, ¿no? Pero sin necesidad de esto, internalizar y reforzar lo que hemos hecho hoy. Review the grammar. You can check the grammar booster. Ahí les da la página, page 133. Okay. To do to get some extra information in the grammar booster, page 133. You can review that part, guys.